In this video, I will walk you through the 6th VWO English exam from 2022. I will try to explain where you could have found the correct answers and why the other answers are not correct. I understand that you might only want to know this for the questions you got wrong, so I have added chapters to this video based on the question number. Just scroll through the chapters in the play bar or press the timestamp for the desired questions in the description. Question 1. If you read the text as a whole, you notice that the writer of this article doesn't take the scoop from the Mail Online seriously. In paragraph 2, this scoop is mentioned, but followed by a mocking sentence. Yes, dear, of course she has. This makes clear that the scoop is not a real scoop. The correct answer is D, as ironic. The definition of irony is the expression of one's meaning by using language that normally signifies the opposite, typically for humorous or emphatic effect. In this case, the word scoop is the opposite of what the writer means to say, which is why D is the correct answer. Question 2. The correct answer to this question is B. The answer can be found in the first two sentences of the first paragraph, which read: The confidant in question is Simone Simmons, whom the Mail Online described as an alternative healer and trusted friend of the princess, a member of her inner circle. Or, if you would prefer a different description, you can have this one from Mail Online in 2008, when it denounced Simmons as one of the parade of crooks and charlatans. These two sentences show that the Mail Online has referred to Simmons twice, in the first sentence as reliable, and in the second sentence as unreliable. Note that the second sentence starts with the signaling word or. Question 3. The correct words to fill the gap are disbelief is suspended. Answer B. This becomes clear from both the part before the gap as well as the part after the gap. The sentence starts with a signaling word, despite, which indicates a contradiction. It is followed by the fact that the audience can see the puppeteers. To make the contradiction needed with the word despite, the second part should show that you don't notice them or see them. Question 4. The correct answer to this question is C, tugged heartstrings. You need to have this expression in your vocabulary to know this. The definition is to cause someone to feel a great deal of pity or sadness for someone or something. This fits with the latter, which can be concluded after reading the last sentence. The level of emotion and anguish achieved between mother and son is far beyond what an infant boy actor would be capable of. Especially emotion and anguish achieved points towards this answer. Question 5. The correct answer is D. If you look at the part before the colon, you see the complimentary £4 paninis, which indicate that they used to receive the paninis for free, but not anymore, so no more free lunch. Question 6. The correct answer is C, which can be supported with a phrase from paragraph 5. It reads, he didn't sound too happy, and unhappy people tend to be less productive. Feel mistreated links to unhappy and underachieved to less productive. In front of this phrase with the correct answer we find a colon, and correct answers are often to be found near signaling words or colons. A is incorrect because there is no link made between profits and working conditions. B is incorrect because the text doesn't discuss newly recruited personnel. And D is incorrect because the quote in the question is about employees and not about customers. Question 7. The correct answer is A. The idea people might have is that employees don't have any extras anymore. This paragraph debunks that notion in the first sentence of the paragraph. Here you find the phrase, this isn't a complete bonfire of the perks for the beleaguered baristas. The paragraph then continues to state which perks they do still have. B is incorrect because Cafe Nero doesn't cut down on all the extras. C is incorrect because they do not cut down on all the extras. And D is incorrect because, again, they do not cut down on all the extras. Question 8. The answer is een gratis panini, which can be found in the first paragraph. Here you find the phrase, but the complimentary £4 paninis went up in smoke. Note that the sentence starts with the signalling word. Complimentary is free. To go up in smoke is that something disappears. And in this case, the free panini. Question 9. The correct answer is A. In paragraph 5 we read the ideas of the study carried out. The results are shared in paragraph 6. The fact that the individuals who received treats were 12% more productive shows that actively trying to improve an employee's state of mind is a good idea for business. B is incorrect because the paragraphs aren't about salary, but other perks. C is incorrect because no distinction is made between different types of employees. And D is incorrect because it isn't said anywhere that any of this is unethical. Question 10. The correct answer to this question is D. There are two phrases you could use to support this answer, and both of them are signaled with a colon. The first one is, the study pointed out that the cost of the chocolates was an average $1.40 a head, but it could not make definite claims that the observed boost in productivity was big enough for the extra happiness to be seen as paying for itself. The second one is, it is not possible here to be sure how long such productivity boosts would persist in a real-world setting. Both of them show that this worked in the trial they conducted, but cannot be seen as beatific. Question 11. The hypothesis is, als werknemers het gevoel hebben dat ze niet eerlijk worden beloond, dan zullen ze minder hard werken. We have seen this hypothesis before in question 6. The first indication of this is given in that sentence in paragraph 5. It is again described in paragraph 10. And if workers think they are no longer being treated fairly, they might take their foot off the pedal. Question 12. The correct answer to this question is C. The fact that there are other factors of influence on the business as well makes it difficult to see what the effect is of cutting down on perks. Some of these other factors are mentioned in the first sentence: the price of coffee beans, competitors, the wider economy. A is incorrect because the aforementioned forces could influence Cavenero's business, but not the success of the measures. B is incorrect because these forces don't influence how happy the employees are. The measures that Cavenero has taken influence that. And D is incorrect because they don't dictate the future. They are just factors that could influence the company. Question 13. To answer this question, you have to see the link between paragraph 1 and 2. Looking at the function in the answers, you could have seen that paragraph 2 doesn't describe, explain, or illustrate, leaving only D, which is shows. And D is the correct answer. In the underlined bit, you can see that the childhood fantasy described in the first paragraph became reality. A is incorrect because there isn't any mention of the writer's artistic tendencies. B is incorrect because there's nothing about having a lively imagination. And C is incorrect because there's nothing to be found about a changed world. Question 14. The correct answer is B. This links back to paragraph 1. It doesn't exist until you want it. In paragraph 1, it is described that wishes were made reality by drawing them. In this case, this happens by using the app. If you have read more than just the required paragraph, you might have answered this question incorrectly, because C and D aren't part of this paragraph, but are paid attention to in later paragraphs. And A is incorrect because the paragraph doesn't say it can be customized to taste. Question 15. The correct answer is D. This can be seen in the sentence, like we work offices, common apartments and managed by Q cleaning, Breather isn't so much a technology company as a tech loss on a very old, very conservative business. Like signals a comparison. In this sentence, the idea behind Breather's concept is compared to those of other companies. It is therefore an existing concept, but they present it as being new. A is incorrect because the paragraph states nothing about following the latest trends. B is incorrect because the paragraph doesn't say anything about winding down as a commodity. And C is incorrect because the paragraph doesn't say anything about derelict buildings. Question 16. The correct answer is A. The paragraph deals with money, and the two words that deal with money are A and D. Seeing as the text is focused on the consumer, answer A is the correct one. Affordable is a word aimed at the consumer. It doesn't cost them a lot of money. And the word profitable is a word aimed at the business. They will make a lot of money with this business. Question 17. The correct answer is C. If you look at the function words add, counterbalance, illustrate and view, you will see that the only thing that paragraph 6 does is illustrate what is said in paragraph 5 because the writer gives an example of what is said in paragraph 5. Question 18. The correct answer is A. The sentence requires an if-then construction, a conditional. In this case, the cause is given and you have to find the consequence. What happens if people use these resources less? If it shows that there is no use for them, they will disappear. B is incorrect because the paragraph doesn't deal with shelters. C is incorrect because if resources are used less, they are less desirable and not more wanted. D is incorrect because public resources are available to all. The breathers in this world are available for those who pay. Question 19. The correct answer is B. This answer can be supported with the final sentence of the text, which reads, as is the case with so many startups that continue to promote visions of democracy, how much of the future you have access to depends on how much you can pay for it. The visions of democracy startups promote equals the egalitarian nature. The commercial part of the answer is found where it says that its access depends on how much you can pay. A is incorrect because no mention of higher prices for other companies is in this paragraph. C is incorrect because there is no indication of it trying to be an inclusive organization. And D is incorrect because there is no mention of possible drawbacks in this paragraph. Question 20. Running through the paragraphs, the first 4 are positive in tone about the product, whereas in paragraph 5, the first critical comments are made. The real turning point is halfway through the paragraph, with the sentence, while it's, up to and including the gap. The answer therefore is 5. Question 21. The correct answer is D, and D can be supported using the 2 final sentences from the first paragraph. It would obviously be preferable if we could secure all the needed supplies through industrial mining operations. But the fact is that we're not in that happy position. The first sentence states that they favor industrial mining. The signaling word but in the following sentence indicates a contradiction. That sentence makes clear that they are not able to do so and therefore need ASM. Answer A is incorrect because there is no mention of it being the driving force of the DRC's economy. B is incorrect because it is the other way around. They prefer industrial mining over ASM. And C is incorrect because it isn't said that they have a monopoly. Question 22. For this question you have to indicate whether these problems can be found in the text or not. The first problem should be answered with niet. The text doesn't deal with amounts per mine that are too small. The second problem should be answered with wel. This problem can be found in paragraph 2. It's illegal in many cases, it's unregulated and can be very dangerous. The part after the semicolon is the problem. The third problem should be answered with wel. This problem can be found in paragraph 3. High-level corruption, for instance, is rife in the industry and is one of the key causes of the systemic poverty that prompts parents to send their kids into the pits. This sentence is also close to a colon, the place to find answers to questions. Especially the second half shows that people are poor. Even though child labor is mentioned, even in the sentence for the third problem, it should still be answered with niet. Nowhere in the text is written that child labor should be abolished. Question 23. The correct answer is B. The paragraph describes what Glencore thinks of mining and what should happen. In the first sentence it states that it differs from Trafiguras, Weir's company. Therefore it is a counterbalance. The other options could have been crossed off because the paragraph doesn't belittle, put anything in global perspective, or reinforce anything. Question 24. The correct answer is B. This entire text is about the problems with the way Cole builds his mind. This paragraph explains what Trafigura tries to do to improve the situation. This can be supported with a part from the text. Trafigura is working on a pilot to allow artisanal mining under monitored conditions. What this looks like is explained in the final sentence. Question 25. The correct answer is C. If you want to make sure it is sourced responsibly, you need to keep a closer eye on what's going on, and this matches with a heightened scrutiny. Question 26. The correct answer is D. This can be seen in two sentences of the first paragraph which read, "Just as you are telling yourself this is a book of calm erudition, you will run into a deadpan joke, or you will come across a moment of barely concealed emotion." There are two signaling words to point you towards the correct answer, just as and all. Just as shows that you think one thing, but then something else happens. The content and style can be found in the deadpan joke, and a moment of barely concealed emotion. A is incorrect because there's nothing about writing skills. B is incorrect because that there are jokes shows that it is not necessarily serious in tone. C is incorrect because nowhere is stated that this will be the writer's only published written work. Question 27. The correct answer is B. In order to find the correct answer, you have to know the meaning of dissolution, which translates as ontbinding. The dissolution of the workers' union is compared to the dissolution, the end of a relationship, between man and horse. Question 28. The correct answer is B. In order to answer this question, you have to know what is meant with a subtext. This is an underlying theme, and the only sentence which has anything in there that could have an underlying theme is B, as there are often underlying themes in art and writing. Question 29. The correct answer to this question is D. In the first sentence, the position of the horse nowadays is explained. The first sentence of the paragraph reads, "He declares that horses are now in semi-retirement, with a part-time job as a recreational item, a mode of therapy, a status symbol, and a source of pastoral support for female puberty." In the other part of the paragraph, it is explained why the term semi-retirement suits the current situation compared to the past. A is incorrect because the paragraph doesn't say anything about feeling a close relationship with horses. B is incorrect because there's nothing about abuse. And C is incorrect because even though professional riders are mentioned, it is not said that horseback riding should be left to them. Question 30. The correct answer is B, gradual. The support for this answer can be found after the semicolon. It took a century and a half for man and beast to part. They didn't part ways immediately, but took 150 years, which is little by little, so gradual. Question 31. The correct answer is B. In the sentence before the one with the gap, you read "little known fact," so that chapter is surprising. The chapter discussed in the sentence with the gap is about the horrors of the war, which is not surprising. Therefore, answer B is the correct one. An indicator for this is the signaling word that immediately follows the gap. Question 32. The correct answer is nay. Reading the article, you see that the writer is positive about the different aspects of the book. In none of the paragraphs there is any point of criticism. Question 33. The correct answer to this question is D. This can be supported with the final sentence of the paragraph which reads, "Certainly it would not have occurred to many people, even in the most fanciful dreams, that he was a middle-ranking British civil servant hauled from his desk in one of the more prosaic departments of Her Majesty's Foreign and Commonwealth Office to be dispatched on a top-secret mission of acute sensitivity." Him being a middle-ranked British civil servant hauled from his desk shows that the man is pedestrian in look, which equals him being inconspicuous. His look would not have you expect him to be on a top secret mission. A is incorrect because there's not anything to be found on an unstable political climate. B is incorrect because there's not anything about the man resigning in the text. And C is incorrect because there's nothing in there about him being a spy. Question 34. For this question you had to indicate if the statements match the text or not. The first statement should be answered with niet. In paragraph 2 we see that he has no problem remembering his new persona. Number 2 should be answered with wel. There are multiple smaller indicators throughout the text that tell you that he is out of sorts with himself and his environment. The last sentence of the second paragraph about his robe being too short, the feelings described in paragraph 3, all the complaints about his room in paragraph 4, and the final sentence of paragraph 4 is the climax of this. It reads, each time he passed it, his gaze fixed on it with a mixture of reproach, longing and frustration. Reproach, longing and frustration are keywords in this. The third statement should be answered with wel. In the first sentence of the third paragraph we read, as he paced, he determinedly acted out his feelings to himself without the restraints customary in his official life. Note that the sentence starts with a signaling word, as. That he expresses emotions differently becomes clear from the last part of the sentence, without the restraints customary in his official life. The fourth statement should be answered with niet. There is nothing in these paragraphs that shows that he has got a great sense of duty. The fifth statement should be answered with wel. This can be seen in the first part of paragraph 4, where you read complaints about food, drinks, the bed, so everything the hotel has to offer. Statement 6 should be answered with niet. There is no mention of high-tech gadgets. In paragraph 4 we only read about him having a cell phone, which is not really a high-tech gadget. The seventh statement should be answered with niet. In paragraph 5 we read, should an unfortunate crisis afflict your fine family during your absence, they will pass their concerns to your office's welfare department, whereupon contact with you will be made. This sentence shows that not the main character will make contact, but that contact will be made with him, if necessary. Question 35. In order to answer this question, you have to know the meaning of all the words, and the word vexed might be one of the words that you don't know. The definition of vexed is annoyed, frustrated, or worried. If you look at the answers, you find that A is positive in tone, B is positive in tone, C is negative in tone, D is positive in tone, and E is negative in tone. If you look at the sentence, it refers back to the situation described in paragraph 5. This situation annoys the main character, so a negative word is needed. This leaves options C and E, where E is less strong in tone than C. In choosing, when in doubt, choose the less strong option. In this case, that is also the correct one, E. Question 36. The correct answer to this question is paragraph 2. Here we read, he was wearing the hotel's bathrobe of white toweling, and he had been wearing it ever since his incarceration, except when vainly trying to sleep, or once only, slinking upstairs at an unsociable hour to eat alone in a rooftop brasserie. The word incarceration is the first indicator that he is locked away from the rest of the world. The fact that he creeps upstairs at a time when there's no one around is his second indicator. Question 37. The duration refers to the duration of the assignment the main character is on. The correct word is mission, or a top secret mission of acute sensitivity, which you can find in the first paragraph. Question 38. The words you should have quoted are but diminishing from paragraph 2. The full sentence reads, but diminishing by intentional inflation the value of assets of those who saved and invested prudently so as to permit the imprudent and irresponsible to avoid paying their lawful debts is nothing other than immorality and theft. Note that the sentence starts with a signaling word, but. The theft is the intentional inflation. that is seen as theft can be concluded from the phrase is nothing other than immorality and theft. Question 39. The correct order is CBA. The text works like a funnel, starting with a theory, followed by research, and then an example to support it. You can also look at the writing structures. The last sentence of the third paragraph has the word except in it. This word comes back in the first sentence of C. That is how transitions between paragraphs work. The same happens from C to B. In the last sentence of C, we find the word unfairly, and unfair comes back in the first sentence of B. In A, we find the word dopamine, which comes back in the first sentence of paragraph 7. Question 40. The correct answer is A, and this can be supported with paragraph A, where we find that low-carb meals are linked with more tolerant behavior. B is incorrect because there is nothing about social context in the text. C is incorrect because there is no myth being unraveled. And D is incorrect because it isn't stated anywhere that the diet is here to stay. Question 41. For this question you had to indicate if the misconceptions can be found in the letter. The first misconception should be answered with wel. This misconception is found in the second half of the final sentence of the first paragraph, which reads, "With a lasting impression they had somehow failed to get into the best." The best indicates that these two universities are better than others. The second misconception should be answered with niet. There is nothing in the letter about having to be exceptionally intelligent. The third misconception should be answered with wel. The first sentence of the second paragraph can be used to support this answer. It reads, "Equally absurd is the obsession with Oxbridge as a measure of the success of social mobility in Britain." The climb up the ladder is present in the phrase success of social mobility. The fourth misconception should be answered with niet. There is nothing in the text about the universities discriminating any type of student. Question 42. The correct answer to this question is D, and this can be supported with the second sentence from the second paragraph, which reads, "The young from disadvantaged backgrounds would often be much better off going to more local high-achieving universities. That they are better off at other universities shows that there are other and possibly better options for different types of students." Question 43. For this question you had to find 3 titles which are about politics and link them to the correct descriptions. Away from chaos is an informatieve analyse. You can deduct this from the words surveys and geopolitical. A survey analyzes and geopolitical shows that it's about politics. Surviving autocracy is an instructieve handleiding. You can deduct this from the title, a set of numbered rules, political, and offer a roadmap. The Black Cabinet is een verhelderende geschiedenis. You can deduct this from the title, the word government, the New Deal, etc. If your school made eindexamensite.nl available to you, be sure to fill out your answers to this exam there as well. You will then see an indication of what types of questions you have difficulty with. This gives you the opportunity to specifically train your problem areas. Good luck!